Hi folks, Ernie Forgiani. I'm your instructor for Math 100, and I've had a lot of emails, I shouldn't say a lot of emails, a few emails regarding the video quizzes and where you find them. Okay, so I'm going to start by logging in to our site on CM Connect. You know, when you get into CM Connect or you go to log in, this is what you see. I'm going to log in. And we're going to go, as usual, to My Courses. We're going to go to the Math 100. And we have our home page. You know, you see the typical three columns here. The intermediate algebra, syllabus, coursework, topics on each page. Center column. This one here, This Week in Intermediate Algebra, is a blog. I try to do at least once a week, sometimes twice. Sometimes it gets stretched to 10 days, kind of keep up to date and answer questions that you folks may have. And then we've got 3 videos here. There will be a 4th one after I finish with this one. And then we go over the right-hand side. We've got the right-hand column, and you see we've got My Math Lab, information about exams, which includes exam schedules, quiz schedules, homework schedule, miscellaneous handouts with all kinds of really good topics that are embedded within My Math Lab. If you're having issues with time management, it helps you with that, has suggestions for that. If you have math anxiety, test anxiety, it'll help you with that. There's a short video, and you'll answer some questions about it, and it'll let you know where you are in the anxiety scale. How to make flashcards, and I do allow flashcards on quizzes, not so much quizzes, but tests on the test. Concept cards, it's like how you go about solving a problem, not a worked out problem. And vocabulary. If you need vocabulary cards when you're taking a test, fine, it's okay. All right, then we get down to some other help topics here. The algorithm. The algorithm is the thought process that we do in everyday life, not just for math. If you can nail it in an algebra course, you'll be good to go in life. And then canceling, factoring. It's like time to throw the calculator away for an algebra course, because it really doesn't help you in an algebra course. The canceling, this canceling and factoring, it breaks things down into our prime factors, our greatest common factors, and we start off with fractions, and and we keep going through this whole thought process. It's really to retrain you to think about how we break stuff down and solve problems, and because you're going to need that mindset when we get into chapter 6, solving rational expressions, where you break everything down into your prime factors. Even though they're rational expressions, they're broken down into their basic form. And starting early in chapter 1 is you'll have it programmed in. It's so important. After that, we've got the minus x squared versus, in parentheses, a minus x squared. Okay, this is really important. The difference, a lot of students fall down in here. It's a bugaboo through the entire course, because they need 2 entirely different things. This one here, the negative times x, it's a negative times x. It's a negative 1 times x squared. So by order of operations, you square the x, multiply it by a negative 1, your result is going to be negative. If this was an x to the 4th, all right, you're going to do an x to the 4th and then multiply it by a negative 1, and the result is going to be negative. First, you have everything in the parentheses. So if you have an even exponent here, then your result is always going to be positive. Okay, metric stuff. So if you're going into the science, healthcare, good thing to know. You're going to have to be able to work with this stuff. Translating English to math. This is simply, how do I take a sentence or a word problem and turn it into a mathematical expression or an equation? And there's, buzzwords and explanations on and how to do that, or help you to be able to do that. Okay, so let's get back up to the topic at hand here. How I find the videos. It's under My Math Lab. Select that. All right, so you see I've already opened up My Math Lab, and I've cursored down on this left-hand column. This is where you find your homework. That's where you find your quizzes and tests. This is where you find where your scores are. Multimedia library. Okay, you select that. This page will pop up. You select the chapter. Okay, chapter 5 happens to be selected here. Then you go through all these little topics here, and you check off section video lectures. You click on Find Now, and then you get, okay, then all the section videos pop up. So in chapter 5, we have 7 sections, 7 major topics that the chapter talks about. And if I open one of these up, there may be 0 videos, or there may be several videos. And the questions will say, might be a 5.2. So there's, for each section, there is 1 or 2 video questions. 5.2. And let's say there's 4 objectives they have videos on. And I'll have maybe 1 or 2 questions regarding the different objectives within that section 5.2. And you have to pick out the correct video that the question pertains to. So, and this is a substitute for a lecture. I just found last semester, which was my first stab at doing this particular class online, this particular course, that something was missing, and I really felt that the lectures will help. They're not perfect, but they're a start. And if folks have individual topics that they'd like a little video on, I will do that and post them so that everybody can have it. And I will go into more detail than these folks. I really strong proponent of the step-by-step process. It may seem a little boring, but keep in mind, solving a math problem is like writing a story, writing a paragraph or a paper, or if you're taking a science, you got to write out a lab report. If you leave out a step or some important material result in your lab report, it's not going to be correct. I mean, your lab report has got to be the sort of thing where you can hand it to another person, and that person can recreate the experiment or whatever you were doing in the lab following your report. So it's really important. So when you solve a math problem, you got to be able to hand your work to someone else, and they need to be able to follow it. Okay, that's all I've got. I'll get off my soapbox. Have a great day.